Hey there, seekers of spiritual, tangible results.
Welcome to the No Nonsense Zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason Parks.
I'm Emma Romano, your unapologetically real spiritual guides.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo, we just deliver the raw, kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest the tangible results you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world. Welcome everybody, this is Emma Romano and the amazing
Jason Parks.
We're here on this podcast today to talk about faith versus belief. And for those who are listening to this, you'll probably find that my voice sounds a little messed up. It is, but it will be better. It's okay. Jason, I'm going to let you take it away. Go for it. Talk about faith versus belief. This is a big one, everyone. Hold on to your seats. Go for it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, this is one we've talked about. Emma and I have talked about this quite a lot over time. And it's really been a major factor because I think in spiritual work, there's a lot of words that are used in the English language now that have different meanings to when they were originally used. So often a lot of things that are translated, like a lot of Eastern stuff. I remember when Buddhism first started to be translated into English was in the 1800s. And you have a fundamental teaching, which is like all life is suffering. And now suffering means like a horrible ordeal. But to suffer in common language in the 1800s meant to undergo. So you would suffer the company of fools, or you would suffer a difficult workday. It was that you underwent sort of a trial of your patience. So the idea of it's completely different meaning. Yeah, it's not like life is awful all the time. It's like, no, wherever you live, you are constantly having to deal with stuff. It is constantly happening. You will never, ever not have a problem. You just have different kinds of problems. So a lot of these, and one of them, like what we're going to talk about today, faith and belief, these are now interchangeable, and they really shouldn't because they're completely different things, opposite ends of the scale. So belief is really where we have, it's more like a hope and a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's where there's no proof.
Yeah.
Where there's no proof. Yeah. Often it's a lie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what we want it to be.
Can I put my two bobs worth in about the word belief?
Anytime you lie.
This is how I explain it to people. Belief is, I have two children. I don't believe I have two children. I do have two children. So belief is a lie that's working for you at the moment, in that time, in that space.
Yeah.
That's
the
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for letting
That's the key word, Emma. That's working for you.
Yes, it is. Even if that belief is I'm not good enough, that I'm not good enough is actually working for you right now because it means you don't have to do.
That's right.
And if you don't have to do, you don't have to worry about rejection. You don't have to worry about failure, anything like that. And it's all bullshit. It's like, it's not true. And the thing is, when someone goes, I believe I'm not good enough, you actually know there is no evidence to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
that's exactly.
You're doing it's my two bucks.
So, you get a snipe at me the entire...
Before we press record, I've gone and Jason, I really can't talk. I'll just put my two bobs worth in now and again. He goes, okay, that's my two bobs worth. So there you go.
There it is. Well done. So I suppose it's like, well, what's faith? So faith is the observation of results. We talk about, in spiritual practice, we talk about the importance of faith, and there's often, mention like, your faith has made you well. faith can move mountains, if you have only the faith of a mustard seed, all of these sorts of statements, they're talking about faith. They're not talking about belief. They're not talking about hope. They're not talking about craving. They're not pain body trauma. They're not talking about that. What they're talking about is faith. So faith is like, spiritual faith should be, the sun will come up tomorrow. Now, it may not, but every day of my life, the sun, when it goes away, it comes back again. It's gone back in recorded history. I've done it every single day. And we know why. We know why that is, the process. We can pull it apart and say, okay, this is why the sun will come up. Now, if the sun doesn't come up tomorrow, I'll have bigger problems than worrying about whether or not I've misplaced my view. But we have to treat spiritual practice in the same way. The universe runs by law. It doesn't run, and this is one of the big things that people get messed up on, is that this idea that God is love. God is not love. God is law. Love exists within those laws, but law. And law means that it works every time the same way. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what makes it law. So it's because of this reason we get these statements like God is just. And that's right, God is just. Everybody has access to the laws. He said it doesn't mean that it's kind. Gravity's not kind. You jump off the roof, rich, poor, nice, awful, doesn't matter who you are. You jump off the roof, you land on the ground. That's how it works. Yeah. Well, cause and effect, vibration, attraction, all of those other laws, which are constantly working and spiritual practice is trying to engage with, it said they're working exactly the same way. So that's why sometimes we'll look at it and we'll say, how come that person is a heinous human being and yet they're dragging in the success? And it's like, well, because I understand the law. You're not rewarded for being nice. You're rewarded for being in alignment with the universal law.
Oh, this is
So,
big.
yeah. So with faith, this is how we have to build our practice. Our practice needs to be about results. So there's a couple of things we look for. Now, in the previous ones that previous episodes that we've had, we talked about things like mentors and what you want in a spiritual mentor. And we started to touch upon conscientious discipleship, which I think is the most important factor. We'll take it away from spiritual practice for a minute. I've started back into martial arts practice. Now, I've been doing martial arts practice for 40 years this year, and in varying ways, various styles, various things. But I started as a beginner. I was in meditation. I was advised, go to the school, talk to this guy. I went to that school. It was there. That guy was there. I talked to that guy. Everything that's followed has been in alignment with what's highest and best. So it's like, okay, that's cool. And that's part of conscientious discipleship. When you're told go, you go. And one of the things that came out about that's really interesting is when you practice martial arts, like because I've been an instructor as well as a student, I understand what it is to do it properly. So there's a couple of things you need to know. Rule number one, if you're going to commit to learning something, be teachable. Be teachable. If you go in there with your ego, wanting to prove that you're right, you're going to learn nothing. And worse than that, you're going to actually, not only will you not get anything, but you'll actually waste everybody else's time. So first of all, you go in and you be teachable. That's the first part of conscientious discipleship. The second part of it is, as being teachable, it's my responsibility. So if my teacher shows me something and I go, okay, if he makes a correction, now you're not always, like, you don't get them straight away. Some of these things, they take months, years of training to get it right. But you just show improvement. You keep working on it. But the thing that's interesting about it is, like, if I get shown a routine And he says, oh, I want you on the floor for this one. Do this routine. We all practice a routine, the rest of the class, maybe more advanced students, no worries. I just leave it at that. But if he gets me to do it twice, that's my responsibility to turn up for the third time knowing that routine.
Mm.
That's my job. So when I turn up knowing that routine, we're now moving ahead. I'm not wasting his time, him trying to teach me the moves in order. I know all the moves in order.
Mm.
Now I get to enjoy that teacher's got 50 years of experience in that art. And I get to enjoy the wisdom that's come with 50 years of training under some of the best teachers in the world. And it's like, this is what I get. But I don't want to waste that time with him teaching me move one, move two, move three. So conscientious discipleship, this is in spiritual practice, it needs to be like that. And you can only do that when you shift your focus out of belief and into faith. And for faith, it has to be about results.
Yeah.
I should expect results. The sun will come up tomorrow. If things happen by law, things happen.
Yeah.
I should expect them. Not in a delusional way of that I believe I want them. They're I crave those results because I really need to bring in a heap of money because I got a big bill last night.
Mm.
So that's not practice. Practice is, okay, I understand that there's principles. First of all, I need to stop saying need because that undermines the law. So
I command.
there's there's a problem. Yeah, I command. I require. I
Yeah.
require certain things for my reality to function. And because my reality is built about being a valued service,
Mm.
I cannot be in a space where I have to be worrying all my energy is taken away from the work and put on where I'm going to get money to pay that bill.
That's exactly right.
So I require that flow of money.
Yeah.
I require quality relationships. I require, the people to work with. I require those opportunities. They're just requirements.
Mm.
They're nothing more. I'm not special. They can come any way the source wants it to arrive. I don't care if it comes in a miraculous form or whether it turns up in a mundane form. It's
Mm.
that there's no real difference anyway. But the more you get into it, the more you realize the separation between those two is very blurry.
I love
So
that. Requirements are huge. I just wonder what the listeners are sitting here thinking right now, going, wonder what I require.
yeah, and and that's part of conscientious discipleship. If you're not asking those questions, then you can't be allowing the teacher to tell you what you want.
Oh,
That's really important.
that's
You
huge
know
because
what you want.
I've been stuck in that. I've paid massive amounts for, mentorship, 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year. And they've told me what my businesses are supposed to look like. They've told me what my social medias are supposed to look like. Even if didn't feel aligned with it, I allowed them, and the effect of that, I've allowed them to sort of take over. And the effect of that wasn't good.
You get out of alignment, don't you?
Completely out of alignment, and you struggle to get people in your courses, and you kind of, like, what happened to me personally on a very personal level was I would go to bed at night and have almost like this anxiousness.
Yeah.
And at first I was blaming food. I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I ate something, or maybe I had, this, or maybe it was that. It wasn't. I was out of alignment with my own faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it was about.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you go in alignment with your own faith, and you do things from your perspective and your faith, everything starts aligning, and you fill up retreats, you fill up your mentorship programs, you fill up clients. But not only that, I'm not talking just about work, but your relationships are better. Like, your relationship with yourself's better. Like,
Yeah.
you all of a sudden you're fit, and, like, you're
Yeah.
healthy, and you lose a ton of weight, and you don't want shit food, and you don't want shit drinks, and, like, everything just, it falls in alignment. It's easy. Like, this is ease to it, and there's grace to it.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
There's
Great
another,
grace
there's
is a
another one of my two bobs worth. Sorry, I had two
yeah.
today, Jason.
Yeah, that's all right. I reckon we'll probably get up about $1.50 by the time we finish. So that's all good. It's it's interesting that though, because it's like that integrity is everything.
Yeah.
Is that when you're out of integrity, you can be doing all the things right and it won't work because it's actually against the
Yeah.
law of vibration.
Yeah.
It said you're going to work, all those laws are coming off that vibrational pitch, and your vibration is really where your integrity sits.
Mm.
So if your integrity is sitting 20% lower than you think it is, then you're going to be getting the results of 20% lower than you think you should be getting. And we all do it. We all do that thing about, why is it so hard? It shouldn't be like this. I deserve.
Yep.
And we're sitting in belief. We're completely forgotten faith. And faith is the fundamental currency of the student.
Cool. I'm going to write that down. Faith is the fundamental currency of what?
Of the student or the
Student.
practitioner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the practitioner. Yeah.
Cool. Write that down, peeps. Jason has
So,
spoken.
oh dear.
He's got the
Um,
good shit. He's got the good shit.
well, it brings us back to grace.
I love
Grace,
Grace.
grace is just the most beautiful concept that we have to turn into a reality. We hear it as a concept, but we've got to make it our reality. We have to experience it. And to do that, you've got to be willing to see it. You've got to be willing to see grace.
Mm.
And grace is something that is extended to every creation in the universe simply because you're a creation in the universe.
Yeah.
That's all. That's its condition, its requirements.
Mm.
Yeah. Because you are here, grace is extended to you. Now, your ability to receive grace, that's the problem. We push against it, we resist it, we deny it constantly. And that's because those ego aspects of the pain body, we need to feel like we are separate because we need to matter. But it's that separation which diminishes really our real power, our real ability to matter.
Can you give some examples to the folks listening of how we reject grace just in day to day life?
Oh, well, easiest way to do that is first of all, we speak badly about ourselves.
Mm.
If we speak badly about ourselves, we're denying the miracle that we are. Yeah.
Mm. Yep.
If we look down on our creations, that's
Mm.
another way of doing it. Say, for example, you like to draw, or you like to sing, or you like to dance. You can always get better,
Mm-hmm.
but you're never shit.
Yeah.
You're
So
never ever shit.
you can always get better, but the fact that you're doing it is the
Yeah,
miracle.
that is the miracle. The fact that you're starting, you have planted a seed, and you've planted that seed in physical reality. And by your action and your commitment, your consistency, and the character that you develop through that process, it grows into something wondrous if you keep going.
I heard something yesterday, Anthony, my husband and I. We went to our very first cacao ceremony. It was like a heart opening ceremony, and it was beautiful. And we had our cacao in our hands. We had to put our hand on the top and one hand on the bottom. It was really beautiful. She goes, if you get it wrong, don't worry. Like, you have to put it to your heart and then your third eye and all this. She goes, if you get it wrong, it's okay. Sincerity is far more important than perfection.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I just went, oh, I love that. I loved that. I just thought I would share that.
That's beautiful. So I suppose the big thing, the big thing's about trust. And this in itself could be a completely different conversation, but I just want to throw this out here. Um, if your core values are around honesty and loyalty, you're going to be gullible. You're going to be gullible, right? At some point in your life.
Yep.
And it's because it won't occur to you that people would lie to you. It
Mm,
won't occur to you that people that you think well of would be trying to undermine you. So
mm,
these things don't occur to you. So you're going to be seen as gullible.
yep.
Now, I was horribly gullible for many, many years.
Yeah.
And what predictably happened with that was I just got burnt so many times. I got so jaded that I couldn't trust anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't trust anyone, anything. Wasn't worth it because every time I did, it burnt me. And I heard a bit of advice, and I can't tell you where it is, unfortunately, where I got it from. But it was you can trust people to be themselves, and that changed everything for me. If I'm talking to somebody and they gossip about other people, or they talk about them in a way which is they don't Hadrat Ali used to say you shouldn't speak about someone in their absence in a way that requires their defense. So
Yeah.
so it's like if you talk about people in that way, I said I don't have a problem with saying something awful about somebody if I would say that straight to their face.
Yep.
Yeah. If I said, I think this person's a jerk, because the universe has a good way of testing them. It's happened to me many times. You sit there and you just go, I think that person's a prick. And they'll walk in the door. What'd you say? I said, you're a prick. And this
Yeah.
is why.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, what else can you do with it, right?
Yeah.
but but you on one level, like we have to have that honesty about it. If we don't like a person's behavior, we have to be honest about it.
Mm.
And we also have to be honest about our participation in it. So
That's the big one.
yeah,
That's the
but
one
it's
that I really sit into and I go, okay, that person pissed me off, but what was my participation in that? And that was a
exactly right.
huge one for me around my relationship with my father.
Yeah,
And it was like, well, what was my participation in that?
yeah, that's a big one.
I'm the one who kept going back. I'm the one who was talking to him.
Yeah,
Like, what did I accept? Yeah, that was huge for me. Yeah.
yeah, that's massive. So I find that it's like you trust people to be themselves. And I found that when I stopped listening to what people were saying and started to, well, not exactly stop listening, but I just moved that to the side. And I said, okay, this is what a person's telling me. And now I'm watching their behavior
Mm-hmm.
because their actions are going to dictate their results. So if I see a person that's telling me what I should be doing and they're not doing it, then it's like, okay, there's a dishonesty there. Now, they may not be trying to deceive me. They might be trying to deceive themselves, and they're trying to justify it by selling it to as many people as possible.
Mm.
They could be, they could be trying to deceive me. They might be manipulating me. It's that I don't know what it is, but I watch, and I trust. And this is faith. I can have faith that I have people around me who I have complete faith in their character. I know what they'll do in a certain situation because I've watched them do it again and again and again. I've watched them under pressure. And in doing that, I know I can call this person here for this. I can call that person for that, but not this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So not everyone has to be everything for everyone.
No, no one can be everything for anyone. That's
Exactly
one of the
right.
biggest issues in relationships. People go, my husband, my wife, they lack here and they lack here. What's your expectation of them? Why do you expect them to be everything for you? There's
Yeah,
no way I want to be my husband's footy mate. Get a footy mate for a footy mate.
that's right.
I don't want to be a footy mate. And I don't
Exactly
want
right.
my husband to be my girlfriend and, get my nails done with either.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Yeah, I love that.
Horses for courses.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when we come back to things like, in my own practice, what should I be looking at? Well, I should be developing trustworthiness in
Mm,
myself. That should be a fundamental. I should be taking responsibility for what I want in the practice.
mm,
I should be doing the work. I should be turning up prepared to do, like prepared for the lesson.
yeah.
And and I should be observing my results. it's nice to have a mentor that can do that for you, but that mentor should really be a second opinion. So
Yeah.
you really, yeah, you don't want to get caught out by your mentor. You don't want your mentor to turn around and say to you, wow, that was really not okay.
Yeah.
And you go, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
True.
not the place to be. You need to
Yeah.
be feeling it. Yeah. That I caught myself doing it the other day. I was when I was at training because that teacher is now one of my mentors.
Mm.
And I'm doing a movement and I completely botched it and I got it wrong. And I turned around, and as I turned around, I just watched him move his body weight and I started nodding my head, right? And he saw it and he just kept walking. He didn't say anything, but he was just like, oh yeah, that's it, you know. And that's what we should be doing. We should be sharing practice with people, not turning up like, baby birds waiting for the regurgitation to feed us.
I love that so much. Wow, Jason, before we finish, have you got anything else to share with our lovely listeners?
I think I think under trust, one of the things that we do when we push grace out of our life, we do it because we receive it and then we push it away. It's
Mm,
not that we never receive it. We get it, we go, I'm not worthy.
yep.
That make time in your day to observe yourself doing things right. Acknowledge that you're doing things right, not just watching for what you're doing wrong.
Mm,
And give yourself that opportunity to say, okay, this is why things come to me. This is why we can have nice things.
mm.
It's an important part of your practice.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. Everyone, please private message us, jump on Soul Aligned Results. We've got our podcast, we do masterclasses, we run retreats. Jason and I collaborate and mentor. We do all the things. Catch us on soulalignedresults.com.au. We've got a website with all the deets there. We've got a Facebook page. We probably have an Instagram page. I'm not sure. But it's probably, I don't know. Don't know.
we're not the people to ask.
We're
Yeah.
good, aren't we? Aren't we good? We would love to know what you're thinking of this and how you feel, and we would love to have your feedback. We would love your input. This is a collaboration with you. Please, we're sharing. We want you to share with us. Thank you so much for listening today. We absolutely love hanging out together and doing this for you guys, and we will see you soon.
Thank you very much.